Bringing our newly certified Bitcoin bro on this program, Doug Flynn. Here he is from Flynn Zito. You've been talking about it so much. I think you are. Maybe you'll be actually the Bitcoin czar. You might get the job.
Oh, you never know. I could be there, sure.
What do you think of this? The idea that they're not only I guess two things. The price, you see, is above 98 today. It's getting closer and closer to 100. And the idea of the administration actually thinking about dedicating a job to cryptocurrency policy.
I definitely think it's worthwhile appointing somebody to be a part of this, because it really has lacked a lot of direction in terms of legislation and regulation. And so, and what's interesting to me also is with Gensler announcing that he's going to resign on January 20th. That's the SEC chairman. That gives Trump the opportunity to appoint someone to the SEC who's more crypto friendly as well. But you need a czar really, or somebody like that, to really determine something as simple as, is this a commodity or is this a security? Right now, we don't know. And the czar can kind of bridge the gap between the SEC, the CFTC, which is the governing body for futures and whatnot. And so we just, what are the rules so we all know how to play it? And then with Trump really doing the things about the reserve in the US and possibly even doing crypto trades tax-free for anything that's done from the United States, is unbelievable, because right now all of these gains are great, but if you go to sell, you're going to pay a ton of money in gains.
See that on the screen? We had you all there. We took it down. It said Bitcoin Bro. That's your new title. So it's interesting because you might have to make hats, by the way, 100,000 for Bitcoin if we get there. If you had the 40,000
right.
for the Dow that we passed through. The stock market in the middle of all this, I was interested in it today because with everything going on and there's news on Gates and everything, I wasn't paying attention for a while, and I was surprised actually to see it be up as much. Dow's up almost 500 points. We'll do the closing numbers in a while. So we were talking about Nvidia last night, and then when it came out, it was fine. It was a good report, but stock actually went down. Then today it ended up being up. So what's going on here?
Well, Nvidia really, I think it beat, 94% was the sales. It climbed 94%, but that wasn't good enough for the market because last quarter it was up 122%, and the quarter before that it was up 262%. So 94%, it almost doubled its sales, but the market was like, nah, we want more than that. And so that's why it really didn't break out to the degree that everyone thought it would. But it wasn't much lower, so it didn't go the other way. But I think it's the problem with these high expectations. They're almost impossible to continue to do when you're already the largest stock in the entire world. So how do you keep executing at that pace? It's very likely that you're going to have a lesser and lesser percentage, but the market's adjusting to that. So right. I think you push that to the side, everyone's like, okay, we get it. Now we can focus on the other parts of the market, because there are other parts of the market besides Nvidia and crypto.
No, I guess so. I guess so. We should actually talk about them a little bit. The economy overall, I mean, the home sales numbers those numbers surged higher today in the month of October. So what did you make of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that really has to do with the inventory. The inventory of the sales were at a 14-month high, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that more inventory came online. More people put their houses up for sale. And that tends to happen later in the market where people are seeing these crazy prices and people will start saying, you know what, if you're going to give me this kind of number for my house, maybe I'll put it up there. Now, maybe they put a very high number out there, see if anybody wants to buy it, then they lower a little bit. But overall, there's just more supply for people. So that enabled them to buy more of it. There's a lot of pent-up demand. And so, there's still a problem with affordability. Rates are still too high, and they may stay there a little bit longer, but also, there's still an issue with the fact that there's a lot of backlog for people who want to buy homes, and the outlook for home price appreciation is still there. So that means, hey, you see a house you like at a decent price and as much as you can afford, and people are going to move. And so I think that's what started to happen here.
All right, one more thing, and then we get it back to our crazy political news that we've been covering of the day. But this is actually a political story in and of itself, is that the Biden Justice Department going after Google here on antitrust. Apparently looks like they want them to sell off Chrome, the web browser. And it's interesting timing, right? At the end of an administration, you wonder what the Trump folks would do. But they've been relatively aggressive, in wanting to go after Google as well. They're not huge fans of big tech. So
no.
There's the Alphabet, which is Google's parent company. The stock price down today. What would your outlook be for the company as it goes through all this?
I think a lot of it's priced in already. The real issue with this was that the DOJ didn't like the fact that that Google was paying Apple $20 billion to be the preferred search engine built in. They don't like that. They want more openness. And so breaking it up might be something that actually happens. I do think it's priced in from the standpoint of what's going to happen with Google. Maybe there's spin-offs and whatnot. But what's really interesting to me is that Trump administration 1.0 brought the initial case. And certainly this is by the DOJ just throwing everything they can before they exit. They definitely want to break it up. I don't know how much it's going to break up, but as far as pricing in, I don't think it distracts from Google's long-term plan. There will be some issues to their profitability and in ad sales and whatnot, but I think they'll be fine. So it's just a matter of adjusting to it, like other companies that have been broken up.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
2020 in the final year of his administration that first case came from the Trump side. So
right.
Just be interesting, I guess, since Google's such a big company, or Alphabet is. Thank you, Doug, as always.
Sure.
Bitcoin Bro and much, much more. Doug Flynn with us there. We'll do closing.